What is up, y'all? Happy 2026. I'm currently driving to go get a new motorcycle. This is one that I can't technically ride home, but as y'all can maybe see, there's a ton of snow out. It's a balmy 21 degrees out at the moment, so I wouldn't really want to be riding this one back anyway, even if I could. So while I got some time in the truck, I figured I'd catch y'all up on some 2026 plans and just have a chat with y'all, do a little bike reveal, and grab some food. So let's get into it. I figured going hands-free would be a little bit better of a life choice, so I've got y'all set up and a little action camera mount over here. I'm currently filming on the Osmo Action 5. I don't use this camera too much, but I figured it would be fun to use it today on this little impromptu vlog. I don't really have a plan other than going to pick this bike up, grabbing some food, and figured when I was running out the door this morning, I'd bring you guys along with me. So I've owned this truck for 8 or 9 years now, and I've never used this little from the factory GoPro mount that comes with the Tacomas. So figured it'd be a good use for it. So let's talk about some 2026 plans. You know, in the last kind of life update video I did with y'all last summer, I kind of talked about how I moved back to Colorado. I've been working really hard on some personal and career life goals and all of that fun stuff. And I feel like, you know, I'm finally starting to reap the rewards of all that hard work, which is really cool to see, and get to share with y'all as well through this channel. So for those of you who, you know, have also kind of made those things possible, I really appreciate y'all. I know it's a very like cliche YouTuber thing to say, but it's a real thing. Like, you guys are along for the ride, and y'all sharing these videos and watching these videos, it does help, you know, make the dreams come true, so to speak. So thank you. But this year, you know, moving back to Colorado, really this past year has been awesome. And this year, I would really like to focus on, you know, enjoying where I live. And that is something I feel like when I reflect on the past 10 years of my life, not to get real deep on y'all, but over the past 10 years of my life, really 15 years of my life, I've been such a nomad. And I've lived all over the country, and, you know, I've moved every couple of years, and I'm very ready to nest. You know, I'm not going to not travel. I will say that. Let me just cut to the chase there. I will still be traveling all the time, but I'm so stoked to live in a place, again, that I absolutely love and where there's just so much good motorcycle riding. And within a 500-mile radius of Colorado, there is so much incredible riding, some of the best riding in the country. You know, so what's the point of constantly leaving when I've got so much great stuff right here in my backyard? So the travel will continue. This channel will always be about traveling first, motorcycle second, usually always together. But with that being said, I do plan on adding a little bit of new content to the channel, still focused around travel. And I've kind of talked about this a little bit over on Instagram and Facebook. So for those of you who follow me over there, then you probably already know what I'm about to talk about. But, you know, I've had this truck for the last 8 or 9 years now. I bought this thing. This is a Tacoma, by the way, for those of you who can't tell. But I love this truck, and I've always wanted to kind of turn it into a little bit of an overlanding vehicle, for a lack of better words. But that's going to be coming to fruition soon, and I do plan on doing some truck camping content, and there will be, you know, motorcycle spin to it as well. But you guys love camping content. I think you will love the truck camping content, and there will still be a huge travel and food aspect to it. And from everything that I've talked with y'all about over on other platforms, y'all are stoked for it. So I know that won't be some people's fancy, and that's okay. Every video I make isn't going to make everyone happy. It never has. There's always someone who, you know, the video's not long enough, or I'm not at the right destination, or I'm not on the right motorcycle, or something. There's always going to be a handful of people who just aren't happy, and, you know, I'm not here to make everyone happy. I'm here to experience the world and experience life and take y'all along for the ride. So yeah, good. There's gonna be some truck camping content and truck travel stuff on the channel. Not a ton, but I think you guys will be stoked to see, you know, what I've got in store for y'all. But with that being said, let's talk about motorcycles. So obviously I'm going to pick up a new bike. There will be a new motorcycle on the channel here soon. There might be another new motorcycle on the channel here soon that I'm not allowed to talk about with y'all yet. But there will also be some bikes coming back to the channel that y'all haven't seen in a few years. I do plan on riding the Sporty this summer. I absolutely love that bike. Out of all the bikes I own, that's probably my favorite one. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. You know, I would actually like to build a proper chopper here the next couple of years, but I've got some other things, you know. That's one of those things where I need to focus on some other life goals before I take on that endeavor, essentially. I do plan on riding the Dyna this summer. It is running. I'll save the details on all that for another video, maybe about the Dyna. Maybe I'll finally do like an overview video of that bike. Y'all have asked for it for a while now. But I do plan on, you know, still riding cruisers. I'm still going to ride my Lowrider ST. That bike's got like 42 or 43,000 miles on it already. And it's only a couple years old, so I am excited to, you know, spread the mileage across a few different bikes this year. So yeah, have no fear. There will still be plenty of motorcycle content on this channel. It is not going anywhere. It will always be a big focus over here. But I do feel like doing some truck camping stuff to tie this all together, you know, I'll be able to create more content for y'all because doing the truck camping, you know, I can edit while I'm on the road versus motorcycling when I'm on the road. There's just no way for me to sit in one place and slam out a video for a few days, and being in the truck, I can do that. So hopefully this just means more travel content for y'all, and y'all are stoked on it. As far as events and whatnot go, you know, I've been very vocal about this. Motorcycle rallies, you know, I've had to go to them for work now for 15 years. I used to go to them just for fun as well, but they've really turned into work for me. And they're not really my favorite thing in the world anymore. I really like grassroots events. I feel like that's always where my heart has been. And so as far as events go this year, for the most part, everything I'll be doing is a grassroots event. I don't really have that schedule planned out. Actually, the only event on my schedule this year is currently Babes in Borrego. And so ladies, if you'll be there, I will see you there, and I will be doing photo and video for the event just like I did at Babes Ride Out Oregon. So yeah, and maybe I'll see y'all at Babes Ride Out Oregon. I really would like to get back to that event this year as well. But as far as big rallies go, they're not really a priority for me this year. I think I will be at ADV Fest up at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis this summer, but nothing's really set in stone. It's currently January. This is about the time of year where I really start to figure that stuff out. And you know, one of the things I really like to do is experience new things. When I've been to an event multiple times in a row, that's just, to me, kind of a waste of my time when I could go experience something new with my life. So yeah, I don't really plan on putting a huge emphasis on events, especially events I've already been to. Now, a few things that y'all have asked me about, speaking of events, is, you know, do I plan on organizing any rides here in Colorado? A lot of people local to Colorado really want to go riding with me, and I appreciate that. I don't like doing group rides with a bunch of people I've never met. I think they're kind of dangerous, and I watch people act weird. I've been on rides like this for other people, and you start to get a bunch of different kind of egos together and riding skill sets together. And honestly, it just isn't fun. I find it very stressful. And I feel like I'm much more worried about everyone around me than I am enjoying the ride. And with that being said, you know, what I've thought of doing is doing, you know, something that's more on brand. I've thought about doing something more, you know, ride to food worthy, and, you know, doing some coffee meetups. I'd love to get, you know, some cruise-in kind of events going where everyone meets up at a coffee shop in the morning, everyone hangs out. I'm not really a bar fly these days, so organizing, you know, some bar meetups isn't really my forte, but, you know, maybe there will be one here and there. I'd love to get out to some other events like that. I've been going to a lot of the Revit Denver events this year, and they've been really fun. They put on a lot of really great educational seminars, and just, it's really nice to have like a hub for the community to come meet up at. And if you've never been to the Revit Denver store in Rhino, you totally should. It's really nice. But with that being said, maybe stay tuned for that. I'd like to do a couple meetups like that. But yeah, probably not doing any organized rides with a bunch of strangers because it's just sketchy and it's not fun for me. I think I've yapped enough for now. Probably will continue this on the drive back home. But let's get over to the dealership and pick up this new bike. Just got to the dealership and I have so much anxiety, like good and bad anxiety, because this is something that I've wanted to buy forever and it's finally happening. But also, I hate the motorcycle purchase process. If you bought a motorcycle, you know where I'm coming from. So I don't know how much I'm going to film in here. We'll see how this goes. It might be a we load this bike into the truck and I fill y'all in down the road. But anyway, time to go sign some paperwork. So I just got to the dealership here in Grand Junction. I am at All Terrain Motorsports, picking up my brand new 2025 Husqvarna FE350S. 8-year-old me is screaming right now because I've wanted to own a dirt bike since I was a little kid. So this is super, super exciting. And I know the guy's about to bring the ramp out right now to help me load this into the truck. So I will talk about later in this video why I bought this bike instead of other ones and whatnot, and what I plan to do with this and everything later in the video. But for now, I need to get it loaded in the truck, and then we are gonna go grab some tacos because I have not eaten yet today. But I also just wanna enjoy this moment. This is something I've been waiting to do for 25, almost 30 years of my life. So we'll talk about it more in a bit. I can't believe I finally bought a dirt bike. And that calls for some celebratory tacos. And there's a spot here in Grand Junction I've always wanted to stop at called Taco Party. It's in the historic downtown area. So I did the mix and match 3 for 22 tacos. So I got one of their fish tacos, like this one here. I also got one of their hot chicken tacos as well as their brisket suadero. And of course, had to get a Mexican Coke because these are the best kind of Cokes. This is pretty much the only time you'll catch me drinking a soda at this point, but let's go ahead and dig in. I love Baja style fried fish tacos, and this is so good. These homemade tortillas are insane. Let's try the hot chicken one next. I actually asked the waiter/server at the counter whenever I ordered which one I should get for my third taco, and he said this one, but we're gonna eat it as the second option. It has shredded apple on top, so it's kind of spicy, kind of sweet. Overall, it's delicious. And last but not least is going to be the brisket suadero. Oh, this is great. The brisket is super flavorful and a little smoky. It's not, true Texas style brisket. Y'all know I'm a brisket snob, but this is excellent. I would totally order another one of these. And these tortillas, I know I already said this, but these tortillas are amazing. Super glad I finally got to stop in here. We'll totally be back. All of these are really good. I would totally reorder everything, but definitely the brisket and the fish taco, maybe the hot chicken. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that, if I had to kick one off the tray to try something new, that's probably the one that would go. But this place is awesome. I'll totally be back here next time I'm in Grand Junction. There's a lot of good food in downtown Grand Junction if you're ever going through there. Ramblebine Brewing's right across the street. I might have said that wrong, but they have food trucks that rotate in and out of there, and there is a food truck there called Pronto Bronto, and they're known for their burgers as well as vegetarian options. A few of y'all have recommended that to me, actually. And there's also a new James Beard nominated restaurant called Bin's. It's been in Grand Junction for a while, but it is now nominated for a James Beard Award, and I did look that up, and I debated going there today, but I decided to go to Taco Party instead, and Pronto Bronto was not open today, which is why I did not go there while I was in town. It technically was open today, but not until after I left. But yeah, if you're an outdoors enthusiast, Grand Junction is really cool because you're basically surrounded by public land. So if you're into dirt bikes or mountain bikes or side-by-sides, Grand Junction is definitely a really common hub for people that are into those outdoors activities, especially hiking. There's all kinds of stuff right around Grand Junction. Also lots of great riding if you're just into paved roads, the Grand Mesa's nearby, the Colorado National Monument's there. There's all kinds of great stuff in Grand Junction. So with all that being said, let's talk about this FE350. So I decided to buy this bike out of Grand Junction because this dealership had the best deal on it, and they're known for selling volume from my understanding, so oftentimes you can get a pretty good deal on bikes there. Like I said, it's currently January of 2026, so a lot of the 2025 models are marked down heavily because they're trying to move them out so they can get the 2026s in. So I got a killer deal on this bike, and it wasn't really worth it for me to hold out for a 2026. This bike will be plenty fine for me. So That is why I chose to buy from there. And if any of you do decide to buy from there, please reference me and let them know that Stacy from Ride to Food sent you. This isn't sponsored. I bought this bike with my own money. However, maybe I'll go back and buy another bike from them in the future. So if you do decide to buy from them, like I said, I appreciate the reference. So let's talk about why I bought the FE350 in the first place and not, a different bike that's out there on the market. Because there are tons of different dirt bikes, dual sports, etc. Long story short, I was actually just audio texting with one of my friends before I started talking with y'all, and she mentioned the term decision paralysis, and that is the perfect way to explain how I feel about dirt bikes. Because there are so many options out there. I feel like over the last handful of years, no matter how much research I do and try and figure things out, it is just so hard to make a decision when you just don't have seat time on anything. And you see what your friends are riding, and that's kind of an easy way to get an idea of what you want. But I constantly kept hearing about a handful of my friends that have owned or currently own the FE350, and many of them are people that I respect their riding skills and or their riding journey and where they've come from in motorcycling. And so I ended up having a lot of conversations with them, asking them about the FE350, and pretty much all of them recommended the bike to me and said that they thought it would be a great first bike for me for dirt biking. And it would be, a really good all-arounder for me to decide exactly what I want to do with a dirt bike. Eventually, do I think maybe I want to get a 501? Absolutely. I think for now, I will enjoy the power difference between the 350 and the 501 as I become more skilled riding off-road. As many of you know, I ride a Pan America, and I love the Pan America, but there's definitely types of terrain and types of riding where I don't really enjoy being on that bike. And I don't enjoy taking a $30,000 motorcycle through a hill of baby heads and potentially snapping my leg underneath a 600-pound bike. I just don't have the skill set for it, and picking the bike up constantly when I'm in challenging terrain like that, it's just a lot. And so for me, that was one of the big things that I wanted to be able to do with a smaller bike, was be able to challenge myself in terrain like that, in hopes that it will also, just enhance my riding skill set, which I know it will. Everyone I know that rides dirt bikes definitely has a incredible on-road and off-road riding skill set. So I definitely think overall this is going to be a huge plus for me as a rider. So earlier in this video I talked about going truck camping, and this is the bike that will be going with me on the truck trips. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them I do plan to take the FE350 with me because it weighs about 250 pounds wet. It'll be perfect to get a little moto hitch for to put on the back of the truck, and I'll be able to take it with me on certain trips. And also because it's so lightweight, if I do drop it here and there on a trail, it's going to be completely okay. I do plan to go out riding with friends. I know that dirt biking, especially as you're challenging your skill set, is definitely something you shouldn't be doing alone. But there are times that I'm going to be out in the truck. Maybe I'm camping out by Crested Butte and I want to ride some of the roads around there. You have to have a plated bike, which is also why I went with the 350S, because it is the street legal model. So hopefully those spark notes make sense. Overall, I'm pretty stoked about having this bike. Like I said, I'm kind of like living my childhood dream right now. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I don't know how long this is going to be. Is it going to be a 5-minute video? Is it going to be a 15-minute video? I don't know. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Later, y'all.